दक्षिणामूर्तिसारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् रमणाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये आङ्गिकं भुवनं यस्य वाचिकं सर्ववाङ्मयम् आहार्यं चन्द्रतारादि तं नमः सात्विकं शिवम् आज्यधारया स्रोतसा समं सरलचिन्तनं विरलतः परं भेदभावनात् सोऽहमिति असौ भावनाभिधा पावनीमता भावशून्यसद्भावसुस्थिति भावनाबलात् भक्तिरुत्तमा भावशून्यसद्भावसुस्थिति भावनाबलात् भक्तिरुत्तमा Ocean of nectar, full of grace, O self-supreme, O mount of light, ocean of nectar, full of grace, O self-supreme, O mount of light, who spreading grace engulf all things, shine as the sun which makes the heart lotus blossom fair, ocean of nectar, full of grace, O self-supreme, O mount of light, he whose pure mind turned inward searches whence this I arises, knows the self aright, and merges in you, Aruna Hill. He whose pure mind turned inward searches whence this I arises, knows the self aright, and merges in you, Aruna Hill, ocean of nectar, full of grace, O self-supreme, O mount of light, he who with heart surrendered to you beholds forever you alone, sees all things as forms of you, and loves them as none other. He who with heart surrendered to you beholds forever you alone, sees all things as forms of you, and loves them as none other than the self. O Aruna Hill, triumphs because He's immersed in you. He's immersed in you. Ocean of nectar, full of grace. O self-supreme, O Mount of Light, O Mount of Light. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. By the divine grace of the Supreme, who is available everywhere, and also he is available as the heart, as the self in all beings. My salutations to that Supreme. And that Supreme grace has brought us all together here today for this satsang. I am very happy and joyous that the Supreme has given me an opportunity to speak to you in the physical presence of Arunachala. I'm at Arunachala, meditating on that Arunachala, which is the Mount of Light. And recently, a few days ago, we celebrated the festival of Kartikeya Deepam, and the festivities are continuing still at 6 o'clock. A light, a huge Deepam was lit again on the peak of Arunachala, the Mount of Beacon. And the Kartikeya Deepam is that festival where we celebrate the coming together of Mother Parvati and Shiva as the Ardhanarishwara Tattva. We began the satsang with the glorious Sita Kalyana, the same Vaibhoga, the glory which Tyagaraja saw in the Kalyanam of Sita and Rama. We can see that same festivity celebrated in this occasion too. Parvati, who had come to earth to perform penance, she came to Kashi and she was instructed then to go to Kanchi and continue her tapas. And after Kanchi, Shiva appeared and he told, go to Arunachala and continue your penance, and I will come and unite with you there at Arunachala. So Parvati came to Arunachala and she knew by the glory of Arunachala being told by Gautama Maharshi, the glory of this Arunachala, and she knew that this hill is not an insentient hill. It is the hill of knowledge. It is the hill of fire. It is the hill of light. So she went round the hill, the circumambulation of the hill, just like how in a wedding the bride and the bridegroom goes around the fire. She went around this sacred fire of knowledge, and after circumambulating, she prayed to Shiva, oh Shiva, show me that vision which you showed the great gods Brahma and Vishnu, that vision of light which does not have a beginning or an end. And when she prayed to Shiva, Shiva appeared in front of her as a huge column of light without a beginning or an end. And Parvati, seeing this glorious vision, which did not have a beginning or an end, she questioned herself. She inquired, I see this light is the light without a beginning or an end. But who is seeing the light? I am seeing the light. If I am seeing the light, this huge light, I am seeing this light, huge light is contained in me. And she continued her inquiry, who am I then who is seeing this light, in which this light is also encompassing? What is that me? What is that I? She inquired, and that moment she became one with that Atma Bhirama, that self which is Shiva, and she became one with Shiva, that we celebrate as the coming together, of Ardhanarishwara Tattva. For those who cannot understand this glory of the inner union out of the supreme compassion, we see that the Shiva himself appeared before Shiva, Parvati, and asked, "O Parvati, O Uma, I am happy and pleased by your penance. Ask, what do you want?" And Parvati told, "O Shiva, in essence, I know that I am you and you are me. There is no separation. But if when I am physically separate, there may be some mistake, some sin that may happen. So I want to be united with you even physically. When she asked for this prayer, Shiva assured, sure, Parvati, and Shiva gave his own half form to Parvati. It is to signify that when we pray to the divine gives himself to us and we become the divine. That is the true prayer, and that is the true goal of every prayer that we are seeking. And that boon was given. And Parvati again continued, "Oh Shiva, you have given me this beautiful union of being one with you. I want you to bless the whole world also with the same state which I am enjoying. So, whoever sees on this special day of Kartikai Deepam, let there be a huge Deepam which is lit at the peak of Arunachala hill, and to signify that this mountain is not a mountain made up of rocks and stones. It is that mountain of light, that mountain of fire of knowledge, to show the world and remind them again that this is that hill of light. Let a light be lit on this auspicious day of Kartikai Deepam, and whoever sees this light, let them also be given that very same state that I am enjoying." And she continued, "If those who are not able to see this light, if they remember this light and they light a small deepam in their own houses, let the same state of Ardhanarishvara Tattva be blessed to them too." And again she continued, "If somebody who is not able to see and somebody who is not even able to light a lamp in their house, if they remember this light in their heart, Smaranat Arunachalam, if they just think of this light, this glorious mountain Arunachala, which is the mountain of light, let them too be blessed with this same state of union with the Supreme." And what is that state of union with the Supreme? That state which is devoid of any thoughts, which is devoid of any worries, which is devoid of any limitations and restrictions. It is that state which is Satchidananda, which is only joy and only truth and only awareness. That state is what the Arunachala represents. And Sadhuam Swami sings of Arunachala, "Amma அருணாச்சலத்தை பாராய் சும்மா இருக்குதே, அது போல அமர்ந்துளசையாதிருக்க ஆசை பெருக்குதே. அம்மா அருணாச்சலத்தை பாராய் சும்மா இருக்குதே, அது போல அமர்ந்துளசையாதிருக்க ஆசை பெருக்குதே. எம்மாத்திரத்தின் இருப்பே வலிந்திங்கென்னை இழுக்குதே, இம்மாத்திரத்தின் இருப்பே வலிந்திங்கென்னை இழுக்குதே. ஏதும் நினையாதென் போலிருவென்றென்னுள் ஒலிக்குதே, ஏதும் நினையாதென் போலிருவென்றென்னுள் ஒலிக்குதே. அம்மா அருணாச்சலத்தை பாராய்." When we see the Arunachala, Sadhu Swami sings, it makes us become still, just like Arunachala. It brings this desire in us, ஆசை பெருக்குதே, அதுபோல், just like Arunachala, to be still and silent. We get this great desire to be still like Arunachala. And this Arunachala which has drawn us to its presence, the close presence, the physical Arunachala is no different from the Arunachala which is shining as the heart. Ramana says, "Arunachalame aham." So if one remembers this, then their ego is uprooted and they are filled with that same state of Parvati Devi, which of union. So Sadhuam Swami says that this Arunachala is telling us, "En pol ஏதும் நினையாதிருவென்." என்னுள் ஒலிக்குதே. Inside me, it is shining and it is telling me, just be like me, still and silent. The Arunachala is telling us to be still and silent. And Arunachala, Bhagavan Ramana, in the Arunachala Suti Panchakam, he describes Arunachala as not the hill of light. He also says it is hill of light, but he also calls it is the ocean of nectar and is the ocean of compassion. Karuna Purna Sudhabde, ocean of nectar, full of grace. And Arunachala is that sweet ocean of grace. And when one devotee came and told Ramana, the grace of a guru should be compared to the ocean. And Ramana told, no. Guru's compassion cannot be even compared to ocean, because ocean too has limitations. We see the beach. The beach is the limitation. That's the end of the ocean. So even the ocean, the sea also has its limitation. But the Guru's grace, the presence of the Supreme is all pervading. It does not have any limitations. And that is the truth. And Vishwanatha Swami singing on Ramana and the Dhyana Shlokam of Ashtottara says, Apara Satchit Sukhavari Rashe Yasyormi Matram Bhuvanam Samastam Guhahitam Tam Ramanam Gabhiram Chintavihinam Hridi Chintayami. I meditate on that Ramana, that beloved self, who is shining within every heart. In the every heart cave, it is shining gloriously. But who is this Ramana? Ramana is Apara Satchit Sukha Vari Rashe. Vari Rashe is the ocean, is the sea. And what sea is it? It is that limitless sea, the Apara Satchit Sukha Vari Rashe. It is the ocean of Satchit Ananda, the Sat, which is the truth, the Chit, which is the awareness, and Ananda, which is bliss. It is that ocean, in that big Apara Satchit Sukha Vari Rashe, Yasyor Mimatram Bhuvanam Samastam. This whole world, which we think is so important, is only Yasyor Mimatram. It's only a small ripple in this huge, all-pervading, limitless ocean of Satchidananda. And if this whole world is only a small ripple, who are we? We are very, 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 very insignificant, small part of this ocean. But we don't feel like that. We feel that we are the heroes of our lives. The whole world revolves around us. That is what we have the feeling. And Ramana says that is not wrong, because that is your own true nature. You are the all-pervading, limitless Apara Satchit Sukhavari Rashe. But you have limited yourself to this body and mind and this limited intellect that you think you are. But in truth, you are that Apara Satchit Sukhavari Rashe. And that Apara Satchit Sukhavari Rashe, every now and then, every moment is calling us to itself. It is drawing us within by the situations outside. It is pushing us within, and from within, the Guru, who is shining as the self, is pulling us from within. And that Apara Satchit Sukhavari Rashe, we all think that we are the waves, the small part of the ripple, and we are so joyously leading our lives. And this ocean is calling us, come back into yourself. Come back into yourself, the sea, the ocean, limitless ocean, The self is calling us, and we, being the waves in the beach, we are so happy in the beach. We are telling, oh, it is so much fun to gush on the beach and come back. And again, gush at the beach and come back. When we gush towards the little children, they scream and make a joyous sound. It's so joyous to be in the beach. Oh, I'm not listening to your call. I'm not going to come. This is so joyous. And look at the beach. Different kinds of people are coming to see me. They're all enjoying my waters and they enjoy me coming towards them and going back. And look at this. New programs are happening. It is so joyous to be here. I don't want to come back into the sea. And the waves are continuing, doing their job of gushing towards the beach and coming back, going and hitting the sand and coming back, again hitting the stones and coming back. And they are doing this on and on and on. And the compassionate ocean is calling again and again, come, come back into yourself, the sea. I'm waiting. Come, come back into the sea. But the wave is telling, why should I come back? And the ocean says, you can come back. Who told you to leave the beach and come back? If you come back, you can be a big wave if you want to. You can come out as a huge wave. And not only that, you can go to any beach you wish to. You are in here in the Marina Beach in Chennai. You can go to Goa. You can go to Bengal. Or you can go to Japan or Mauritius, wherever you wish to. If you come back to the sea, you can go wherever you wish to. But still, the wave is not convinced. I'm happy here. Why should I come back to the sea and why should I go anywhere else? I'm happy here. And the ocean asks the wave, are you not bored of doing the same thing again and again and again? Are you not tired? And the wave reluctantly says, yes, maybe I'm a little bored and a little tired. And the ocean calls it and says, oh, wave, come back. Come back into the sea. You will not lose yourself. You will find yourself as the sea. And the wave, reluctantly, yet with curiosity, turns towards that ocean and goes into the deep ocean. And there, in the depth of the ocean, it enjoys the silence. And it says, all my life, I have been acting all the time. I have never actually seen the glorious things that are there within myself. I have been making sounds, chatting all the time. I have never really listened. I have been thinking all my life. I have never understood the glory of the silence, says the wave, and it realizes that being the ocean is limitless joy, and nothing can equal that joy of being the ocean. That wave is none other than all of us. We think that we are limited to this identity, this name and form, and this amount of intellect that we have, and this image that we carry on as ourselves. And Ramana says that this is not the truth. And he calls us, find out your own true nature, which is beyond thoughts, which is beyond speech, which is beyond the mind. Get back to that self which is ever shining within you, says Ramana. And he again and again calls us to that true nature that we really are. We know that long ago, In the time of yore, the whole world was filled with deluge. ಚೆಲುವಿನ ಭೂಮಿ ಇದು ರಮಣ ಶಿವ, ನಮ್ಮ ಮುದ್ದು ಭೂಮಿ ಇದು ಅರುಣ ಶಿವ, ನಮ್ಮಯ ಭೂಮಿ ಇದನು ರಮಣ ಶಿವ, ಪ್ರವಾಹ ಮುಳುಗಿಸಿತು ಅರುಣ ಶಿವ. The whole world was filled with this deluge of water, just like how we are having deluges here. Due to the huge rain, there was deluge in the world, and Bhuma Devi went to Lord Shiva and prayed. Bhuma Devi kai mugidu Ramana Shiva, Shivananu pedidalu Aruna Shiva, Shiva tanna Trishuladi Ramana Shiva, Bhumiya hokkidanu Aruna Shiva. When Parvati, the Mother Earth, she prayed to Lord Shiva, Shiva told, "Don't worry, Mother Earth, I'm going to come and protect you." And with his trident, with his Trishula, Shiva took and he poked the heart of the Mother Earth. At that moment, Pravahada Neerella Ramana Shiva, Suliyali Adagitu Aruna Shiva, ಭೂಮಿನಾಥನಾಗಿ ರಮಣ ಶಿವ, ಶಿವನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೆಲೆಸಿಹನು ಅರುಣ ಶಿವ. The water of the flood went round and round and round in the form of a whirlpool, and it went and merged in the heart of the Mother Earth, and that place where the whirlpool was formed, where the water of the flood subsided, that place came to be known as Tiruchuli, the sacred whirlpool. And there Shiva resides as the Lord of the Bhumi, Bhumi Nata. And Parvati Devi too, with her helping hand, she also stays as a consort of Bhumi Nata, as Sahayamba. In that sacred place of Shiva, which is called Tiruchuli, many yugas later, in this very yuga, Kali Yuga, Shiva again appeared. And what was the flood which was coming now, for which Shiva took birth in that sacred place of Tiruchuli? Karma pravahavu Ramana Shiva, ಭುವಿಯನ್ನು ಮುಳುಗಿಸಿತು ಅರುಣ ಶಿವ, ಅಲೆ ಅಲೆ ಅಲೆಯಾಗಿ ರಮಣ ಶಿವ, ಭೂಮಿಯ ಮುಳುಗಿಸಿತು ಅರುಣ ಶಿವ. This karma pravaha, this deluge, this flood of action, and the mental action is called thoughts. And this, the mental action, the thoughts, pravaha, which is drowning this bhumi, this kshetra called the body, and giving trouble to this body to save this bhumi, this kshetra from that deluge of thoughts. Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi was born in that sacred place of Trichuli, and Bhagavan came to Arunachala later to shine as the world teacher, and he has given us the path for that supreme state of silence and thoughtlessness. And Ramana says, Bhava Shunya Sad Bhava Sustiti Bhavana Bhalat Bhakti Ruttama. He says, Bhava Shunya Sadbhava Sustiti. Bhavana is the thought. Bhava Shunya is that state of thoughtlessness. That is the supreme state. That is the true state. That is the state that which is our own true nature. That Sadbhava Sustiti, to be ever abiding in that supreme state, is Sadbhava Sustiti Bhavana Bhalat Bhakti Ruttama. He says that state of being abiding in the self without any thoughts is Bhakti Ruttama. It is the highest form of devotion. And that can be attained by bhavana balat. That can be attained by the strength of meditation. What is the meditation that Ramana is talking about? When we go to the previous paragraph, he says, Bheda bhavanat sohamityasau bhavana bhidha pavani mata. Instead of the devotion that we have to a divine which is separate from us, Bheda bhavana sohamiti asau bhavana bhida pavani mata. Instead of thinking that God is separate, we saw in the story of Shiva and Parvati. Parvati told, if I know that in essence we are same, O Shiva, but if I think you are physically separate from me, then I may do some mistake. And I may have to undergo the consequence of being away from you, being separated from you. Instead of this, Bheda Bhavana, the Bhavana that so aham, you are me, I am you, aham sa, so aham. That is the best bhavana that we can have. With constant meditation on this bhavana, just like Ajyadharaya Srota Sasamam Sarala Chintanam Viralatah Param. Ramana says that if you have this bhavana, this mood of meditation, that we are that supreme power which is limitless. If we have this bhavana and we are constantly meditating on this bhavana, whenever a thought arises and tries to move away, that is the Bheda that we are creating, that I and my thought. And without pursuing that thought, if we ask, for whom is this thought? And we get back to that bhavana of so aham, with practice, with that bhavana bhalat, soham bhavana bhalat, we get back to our own true nature, which is thoughtless and which is beautiful. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says there are 4 kinds of devotees. And those four kinds of devotees are, one is Arthi, the one who is in difficulty, who is in pain, and who is suffering. They turn for solace to the divine. They are one kind of devotees. And the second kind of devotee is Artharthi, those who pray the divine for some benefit. Oh God, please give me this, or make this happen, or make that happen. Those who are desiring for something, desiring for a wealth, artha. So they are the second kind of devotees. And the third kind of devotees are the jignasus. The jignasus are the seekers of knowledge. They want to know what about the glory of the divine. They want to know what the Shastras tell, what the Vedas say, what are these great scriptures and various skills and vidyas telling us about the divine. So they are the jignasus. And the last kind of devotees are the jnanis, who do not want anything from the God, who are ever one with the God. And Krishna says, these, the 4th varieties of devotees, the jnanis, are my beloved. They are the ones who are my favorites, says the divine. And that supreme state, the great ones like Ramana and great sages and saints of India have been and showed us the path of being in that state where they did not desire anything else. When we read the story of Ramdas, Papa Ramdas, he is constantly in meditation of Rama. So when he's going around, he's traveling the train, if the TT comes and he sends him away, there is no thought of sorrow, there is no thought of worry. What will happen to me? Will I get a train? Will I be able to travel? No thought. Oh, Rama has made me get down. If the same TT, out of compassion, makes that sadhu come inside, oh, come, travel in the general compartment, if he allows, And Ramdas says, Rama allowed me to travel and reach that place. Every movement, Ramdas saw the blessings of Rama, nothing apart from it. Such is the state of a Jnani. And we hear of one more Jnani from Kerala who is called the Uppukotan. One of my favorite stories. He's also called the Narayana Brantan. The Brantan is one who is very, very crazy. The crazy Jnani of Kerala, where he used to lead his life in a crematorium, where when the dead bodies are brought inside the crematorium, and they do some rituals where the raw rice is put into the mouth of the dead body. And after the dead body was taken and cremated, the rice which had fallen down from the dead body, this Uppukotan used to collect them and into a small bowl, and he used to make rice out of it, and he used to eat that rice and lead his life in the crematorium. And one day of Amavasa, Mother Kali appeared before in that crematorium, and she saw that nobody was there in the crematorium except this Uppukotan who was sitting and who was cooking his rice. And Kali turned towards that Uppukotan and told, "Oh, I am Mother Kali. Are you not afraid of me? Are you not feeling afraid of the form, this very, very Aghora form? Are you not being afraid?" And he turned towards Mother Kali and told, "Oh Kali, please do your work. I have some work to do. I have this work of cooking this rice and eating. So I will do my work, you do your work." And said he continued his cooking of the rice. And the Kali told, "No, I am now performing the Samhara Tandava with the various forms of Kali, and this cannot be seen by any human. If they see it, they are going to die out of shock. So I request you to go away right now. You come tomorrow after I finish this Samhara Tandavam." And the Uppukotan told, "Mother, I will not be disturbed. You please don't be disturbed by my presence. You continue your dance and I will continue my work." So saying, he continued cooking the food. And the Mother Kali, with all her various manifestations of various forms of Kali, they started dancing this dance of Samhara Tandavam, which is very, very aghora and very frightening. Yet Uppukotan was not disturbed, and he was continue doing his work. And the Kali finished her dance, and she turned towards this Jnani who was sitting here, and she came to him and told, "Oh, my son, I am so delighted by that you are not disturbed by my frightening dance of Samhara Tandavam. You are sitting here undisturbed. So I am very, very pleased. Please ask me a boon," said Mother Kali. And Uppukotan, who was busy cooking, he told, "Oh, Mother, you finished your dance. I don't want anything from you, oh Mother. Thank you," said the Jnani. And Kali told, "No, I want to give you a varam. Please ask me a boon right now. I am ready to give whatever you ask for." And the Mother Kali was ready to give whatever he asked for. And the Uppukotan told, "Mother, I don't want anything, but if you are insisting so much that you will give me a varam, I have been suffering with this elephantiasis disease where the leg is swollen. This right leg has been suffering from elephantiasis for quite a long time. So I request you, if you want to give a varam, give this varam that my right leg is suffering. So you shift this elephantiasis from my right leg to the other leg," said the Uppukotan. Such is the state of the Jnanis who do not want anything from the divine, and they are undisturbed because they don't see anything apart from themselves. Everything is that divine energy, so the Upukatan could stay without getting disturbed, because the Samhara Tandavam is also the glory of the divine. The Jananam, the Srishti Tandavam is also the glory of the divine. So he was undisturbed. In the life of Ramana too, we see that Ramana never desired for anything. He never asked. Even when his kaupinam was torn into rags, even the towel that he was using was fully into rags, he used to roll it up into a ball and use it. Never asked for anything. And when the devotees saw the plight of this rags, when the shepherd boys were making fun of Ramana's towel, the devotees got to know the situation and they brought many, many towels and kaupinam and gave it to Ramana. And Ramana, we see that he never desired to change anything. When Ramana and his devotees were climbing up the Arunachala hill, Ramana stumbled on a rock. And when the devotees told, "Oh Ramana, oh Bhagavan, you have stumbled on this rock. Let us all bring one more big rock and we will flatten this place and we will take out this rock from this place." And Ramana told, "Not required. It is me who did not pay attention to the presence of that rock and I stumbled. There is no mistake in that rock. Why should that be removed?" Such was the acceptance of Ramana, that there was no thought which wanted change. There was no desires that had to be fulfilled. And even when his Ramana in his last days was suffering from a cancer called sarcoma, devotees told, "Oh Ramana, tell this cancer to go away. We pray, we want you to be within our presence. Tell this cancer to go away." And Ramana told, "Did I tell the cancer to come? Now to tell the cancer to go. Did I tell this disease to come? Now to say to go. It has come on its own accord and it will go on its own accord." And such was the state of Bhagavan Ramana, and that was not easy state, because Ramana himself says that that pain of that cancer was just like 100 elephants, hundreds and thousands of elephants stamping him on his hand. Such was the intensity of the pain, yet there was no desire of getting out of it. Such is the state of the Jnanis. Every thought is actually a desire to change something, desire to attain something, desire to get rid of something. And if there are none of these desires are there, every thought is a desire of this ego to be alive, to not lose its identity. The thought is a form of a desire, and desire we can say, because God is present everywhere and God is listening to us and knows everything that we think and we say. So every desire is the thought. We are today celebrating the Jayanti of Kanakadasaru, and Kanakadasaru has showed this truth. We all know this famous story that once there was this Ekadashi which was spreading between 2 days, and Vyasarayaru, the teacher of Mata in Udupi, he thought all these children are young children. They may not be able to sustain the hunger for 2 days. So let me give one bananas to each one of them. And he had a plan of showing the glory of Kanakadasa to everyone. He gave one banana to each one of them and told, "Look at my students. You all can eat this banana today, but be careful. Eat in a place where
There seems to be a temporary disconnection. Let us just wait. We are calling Ujwal. We're sorry for the interruption. I think from Ujwal's side, there is some disconnection happening. We're calling him. Just wait for a minute or two.
We're just telling him he'll be on any time now.
Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana Ujwal, welcome back.
Yes. The story of Kanakadasa, where all the other disciples ate the bananas in various places, hiding from others. But Kanakadasa brought back the banana and kept it in front of the Guru. And all the other disciples making fun. This Kanakadasa don't even know where to eat the banana, the place where nobody can see him. And Vyasaraya turned towards Kanakadasa and asked, Kanaka, why have you not eaten the banana? And Kanakadasa replied, Swami, you told me that I should eat the banana in a place where nobody sees. Can there be a place where the Supreme is not seeing us? That Supreme who shines as the very self, as the eye, he is always seeing every movement. He is the Sakshi of everything. How can I hide anything from him? How can I eat this banana where nobody is seeing? When there is nobody, that I, that self, that divine power is always there, said Kanaka. And all the disciples understood the glory of Kanaka, that he had showed that the divine presence is there everywhere. Yes, am I audible now? There seems to be a small network issue.
Yeah, yes, you are.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. And Vyasarayaru asking this august audience of great scholars, who is eligible to go to Vaikunta? Are you eligible? Are you eligible? And everybody denying, they're not sure whether they'll go to Vaikunta. And when they come to Kanakadasa and ask, Kanakadasa, do you think that you can go to Vaikunta? And Kanakadasa replies, Nanu hodare hodenu. And everybody is shocked. What is this? He says, if I go, I may go. And there is a pun in the word where he says, if the nanu hodare, if the I goes, what is that I? That I, the false I which we call, is that limitation. If that limitation of this body and the mind that we think we are, if that goes, we can go to Vaikunta. That Vaikunta which shines as that supreme abode as the heart, we can reach if the I goes. It is this limited identity that we think we are this body, the mind, and the intellect, which is the root thought, which is Ramana calls the I thought. And this I thought is the source for all the other thoughts. From this I thought rises all the other thoughts. So if we root out this I thought from its root, as soon as this I thought arises, even before it perceives any other thought, if you are able to question, who am I? At that moment, the I thought disappears and we reach that supreme abode. Yet Dhamam, that Dhamam, when once reached, we don't come back. That supreme Dhamam we will reach, says Kanakadasaru. We are remembering him on his Jayanti. And we think that thoughts are very, very important in our lives. These thoughts, which are desires, which are prayers, which we think that it's very, very important, and we are always constantly asking for this and that, this and that. And it is the supreme blessing that the God has made it that not all our thoughts gets fulfilled. There's a very, very famous story, which is one of my favorite story, where a person was traveling in a desert, and he was very, very tired and thirsty and hungry, and he was trying to search a place with shade so that he could take some rest. So he was traveling a long way in the desert, walking, and there far away he could see a beautiful tree, a lush tree. So he went towards that tree, and he was very, very delighted that at last he has come to a shade, and he was trying to take some rest under the tree. And he thought to himself, at last I got a tree. If I can get some water, my thirst would be quenched. So he thought, as soon as he thought, he could see a huge jug of water and a tumbler there, and he was surprised by that, and quickly, he was so thirsty, he poured that water into the tumbler and drank water to quench his thirst, and he was satisfied. And then a thought arose in him. He thought, I got water and my thirst got quenched. I am a little hungry. If I could get some food at this time, I would be so happy. And as soon as he thought this, there was a huge platter of food with various kinds of dishes. And then he enjoyed that food and relished the food, and he finished eating the food, and his hunger full. I feel like sleeping for some time. If there was a cot and a bed, it would be so nice. As soon as this thought came within him, a nice cot was there, and with silk bed sheets and nice soft pillows to lie down, and he was lying down, and a thought again came within him. So nice, I am sleeping and taking rest. If a beautiful girl would be there to give me company and would fan me and massage my feet, it would be so nice. As soon as this thought came within him, a beautiful, dazzling girl came towards him, and she started fanning him and massaging his feet. And then he was perplexed. What is this? Whatever I am thinking, that is coming to be true. What if this is a magical place and this girl is a ghost which is ruling this place? And as soon as that thought came in within him, that girl became a ghost and she swallowed him up. That is the story that we hear. That is the story of the desires, the thing that happens when all our thoughts, all our prayers, if it gets fulfilled, then that is the danger that can cause to us. There's a movie called Bruce Almighty, where the protagonist of the story, he gets the power just like the God, and the God says, you experience this experience of being God for one day. And the Bruce Almighty is so powerful that he could do magical things. And to impress his girlfriend, what he does is that he drags the moon closer to the earth. And the moon looks beautiful, so big. And the girlfriend is enamored by this power of her boyfriend who has made this beautiful sight happen. And the girlfriend gets impressed. But next day in the news, he hears that in some strain in the faraway places, there has been tsunami. There has been the imbalance in the world, and there has been a deluge, and there has been many people who have lost their lives. And the protagonist is shaken, because if all the desires, just like the protagonist, if it gets fulfilled, we don't know what is going to happen to the balance of the world. And that is the reason that Ramana says, அவரவர் பிராப்த பிரகாரவன் அவரவர் பிராப்த பிரகாரம் அதற்கானவன் ஆங்காங்கிருந்து ஆட்டி வைப்பான். The one who is responsible for the whole world, the supreme one, being in that place, being in every place and being in every heart, he is making everything move. And when he is making everything move, what is destined to happen will surely happen. Whatever effort you may take to stop it, it will surely happen. And what is not destined to happen will not happen, whatever effort you put. So Ramana says, so ஆதலின் மௌனமாய் இருக்கை நன்று. So the best course of action is to be silent. That is the Upadesha that Ramana gave to his mother Alagammal when she came to see Bhagavan Ramana, and she had this desire to taking back Ramana to her place, to taking back him with herself to his place, Madurai and Mana Madurai. And she told, I will take care of you. I will not disturb your penance. I will not disturb your state. Please come. So such was the desire that the mother had, and to tell the mother that no desire will lead us anywhere towards happiness. The best course is to be silenced. This is the Upadesha that Ramana gave to his mother, and that Upadesha he gives, that your own true nature is that silence. So there is no use of these thoughts. When we think to ourselves, what are we I'll come back in another device. Please excuse me.
Okay.
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 Namo Ramana. I hope this Wi-Fi works. Ramana is
Yes,
telling
you are
us
audible.
that our own true nature is silence. And what are we achieving through thoughts? It's only a commentary that we are giving on the various situations that is happening. And it is the movie that we are projecting within our mind. And Ramana says, you are not the movie. You are the screen, which is always there. When the movie is going, we are so carried away with the happenings in the movie, we start thinking that it is real. And we start shedding tears with the heroine who is crying. And we are joyous when the hero is conquering the villain. So we get carried away with these situations which are happening in the movie. But Ramana says, you are not this movie which is moving and changing. You are that changeless screen. And Ramana, describing his enlightenment, he says, the self was like Shruti note, which was ever there. In music, we have the Shruti note, which is always being played, and all the other notes of the ragas come and go. And the self is the Shruti note, which is the Adhara for all the notes. And that silence is our own true nature. And that silence is the one which is the Adhara for every thought. And that silence is the Adhara for the I thought, which gives rise to all these thoughts. So Ramana says, don't pursue these thoughts. Get back to that state of thoughtlessness. Bhava shunya sat, bhava sustiti, bhavana bhalat, bhakti ruttama. With that, holding on to that thoughtless state, that self, continue the sadhana. When the sadhana matures and the sadhana becomes stronger, you will attain that supreme state of thoughtlessness, that supreme state which is your own true nature, that the state which Arunachala is shining and revealing to the whole world. That state you will attain when you get back to your own true nature, which is the self. And Ramana says, within, hold on to the self. That is the sadhana that you need to do within. Hold on to the self. Hold on to the self. Hold on to that bhavana. Soham iti asau. Bhavana bida bhavani mata. If you hold on to that supreme statement, aham brahmasmi, so aham, when we hold on to that truth, then all the other thoughts lose their strength and they all disappear. And this one thought alone shines. And this one thought, who am I? When we are holding, Ramana says, it is just like the wood that we use to burn the fire. When the wood burns or the fire and the fire is burnt into ashes, even the small wood which is used to lit that fire is thrown inside the fire, and that loses its identity. In the same way, when we hold on to this one supreme bhavana, who am I thought, or the supreme, which leads us to that supreme bhavana of so aham, when we hold on to this supreme thought, then we reach that state of bhava shunya sadbhava sustiti. And how do we lead our life outside? Ramana says, பாரங்கள் எல்லாம் பரனிஷை போற்று பக்தியாய் அவன் திருப்பாதம் நேரங்கள் எல்லாம் நினைத்திருவென்று உரைப்போன் பாதம் வாழ்கவே. பாரங்கள் எல்லாம் பரனிஷை போற்று. Put all your burdens to the Supreme. And Ramana says, just like if you're going in a train, there's one person who is sitting in the train and he is holding his luggage on his head. And if somebody asks, why are you holding this luggage on your head? And he's telling, oh, this train is having such difficulty. It has to carry all of us and all our luggages. So I wanted to help the train. So I am keeping the luggage on my head. Such is the state. If we think that we have to do something in this world, with our actions, with our thoughts, it is like carrying the luggage in the train on your head. He says, put the luggage on the train, because train is going to carry all of us with our luggage and it is going to make us reach our destination. Surrender should be like that, like the first class passenger where you are completely surrendered and you are sleeping in that supreme state. And when your destination comes, the The person who is taking care in charge of the train, the person who is in charge of that bogie is going to come and wake you up at the right destination. So you are the first class passenger. Be that first class passenger, says Ramana. And he says, don't worry about anything. Offer all your burdens to the Supreme, and every spare time நேரங்கள் எல்லாம் நினைத்திருவென்று உரைப்போன் பாதம் வாழ்கவே. All your time dedicate yourself to remembering that supreme who is shining within. Spend all your spare time in that, says Bhagavan Ramana through Shiva Prakasham Pillai in this Ramana Padamalai. And that is the path which Ramana has shown. Hold on to the self within and surrender in the world. This is the path. If you hold on to this, then with that bhavana bala, with practice, strengthening of the meditation happens. And when the mind becomes pure and when mind becomes strong, it attains that supreme state which is its own true nature, which is bhava shunya sadbhava sustiti. Sadhu Om Swami says, if we understand this truth, that Ramana is the divine, that Ramana is much more concerned about us and about our requirements than we actually are. We don't even know who we are. We don't even know what is happening inside our body, what we want. We are unclear. But that supreme Ramana knows everything. If you understand this truth right now, then you have finished all the sadhanas. You have reached the destination. Understand that when everything goes away, imagine there is a deluge, there is a pralayam, and everything gets destroyed. There is no thought. Still, that Ramana, the self, is ever shining. And this experience we have every day in deep sleep. When we forget about our body, we forget about our possessions, we forget about our learning, we even forget about our mind, and we experience that deep sleep state where there is no thoughts. We are joyous. Nochu Ranna gives the example that imagine there is one king who is leading a very, very lavish life. He has many servants. He has beautiful ranis for his company. He has every pleasure of the world. Even that Raja, when he's woken up from the deep sleep, when he's sleeping, and if somebody wakes him up, then he's so disturbed because he doesn't. When he wakes up, he has all the pleasures, but even then, that joy of being the self that we experience in the deep sleep is much more. It is thousands and millions and countless times greater than any pleasures that we experience in the world. That supreme state, because we enjoy, because that is our own true nature. That true nature, which is apara satchit sukha vari rashe, which is the ocean of limitless joy and bliss. That you are. When you understand this truth, you have attained the goal. And if this faith you have, then you have finished all the sadhanas, because you are in that state of silence. You are in that state of thoughtlessness, which you really are, says Sadhu Swami. I conclude with that song of Sadhu Swami. ரமணன் அன்றோ உன்னை விட உன்மேல் கவலை உள்ள பெருமான். ரமணன் அன்றோ உன்னை விட உன்மேல் கவலை உள்ள பெருமான். ரமணன் அன்றோ முன்னரிதனை உணர்ந்து விட்டால் முடிததெல்லா சாதனையும். முன்னரிதனை உணர்ந்து விட்டால் முடிததெல்லா சாதனையும். ரமணன் அன்றோ உன்னை விட உன்மேல் கவலையுள்ள பெருமான். ரமணன் அன்றோ கனவிலிருந்து விழித்து கொண்டால் கனவு தூயிரால் கவலை இல்லை. கனவிலிருந்து விழித்து கொண்டால் கனவு துயிரால் கவலை இல்லை, நனவிலிருந்து விழித்து விட்டால் ஞானம் அது ஞானம், அது வேறேதும் இல்லை. நனவிலிருந்து விழித்து விட்டால் ஞானம் அது ஞானம், அது வேறேதும் இல்லை. ரமணன் அன்றோ. When we wake up from the dream, then all the difficulties that we were facing in the dream does not exist right now when we are awake. And from this state that we think we are awake, if we wake up from this state to that supreme state of silence, that state of bhava shunya sadbhava sustiti, then that is jnanam. Jnanam adu jnanam, adu veredum illai. Ramanan andro. உன்னை விட உன்மேல் கவலையுள்ள பெருமான், எல்லாம் அழிந்த பிரளயத்தில் இருப்பாய் மிஞ்சம் இயல் எதுவோ, எல்லாம் அழிந்த பிரளயத்தின் இருப்பாய் மிஞ்சம் இயல் எதுவோ, எல்லாம் வல்லவது நீயே நீயே, எல்லாம் வல்லவது நீயே நீயே. இதுவே ஞானம், இது நீயே, இதுவே ஞானம், இதுவே ஞானம், இது நீயே, இதுவே ஞானம். ரமணன் அன்றோ, உன்னை விட உன்மேல் கவலையுள்ள பெருமான், ரமணன் அன்றோ. Salutations to that Ramana. Guha hitam tam Ramanam Gabhiram Chinta Vihinam Hridi Chintayami. I salute to that Ramana who shines in our heart, devoid of all thoughts. I once again thank Meditation and Study Circle, Sri Vaniji and Vasudev sir for giving this wonderful opportunity to meditate on this verse of Upadesa Saram. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.
Thank you, Ujwal, for that amazing discourse. We have 5 minutes if anyone would like to ask questions.
Any questions? People may please unmute and ask.
There is a question by Venkatachalapati Anur. He says, how to surrender? Surrender, the true surrender is to be in that bhava shunya sthiti, without any thoughts, without any desires, or without any prayer, because that is the supreme devotion. Vivekananda says, silence is the loudest prayer. That's what Ramana quotes from Vivekananda. So, to stay in that state of silence is true surrender. But Ramana understands that we are all in the path of sadhana. So, whenever a thought arises, if you are able to drop that thought, if you have a thought of what will happen to me at this moment, and if you are ready to leave that thought with that feeling that Ramana is taking care, the Supreme is taking care of the whole world, and the duty that he has given me is to hold on to that self. If you are able to do that, he says, even if you are able to drop one thought, you will go a long way. And that is the path to surrender. And Ramana says, practice, practice, and more practice will lead us to that supreme surrender, which Ramana has shown us through his life and teachings. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.
Thank you very much, sir.
We have Asha's question. How to surrender doing japa with bhava at all times? Because most times we do mechanically.
This month is very, very auspicious because this is the month which is the birthday of Vasishta Ganapati Muni. And Vasishta Ganapati Muni he was such a great scholar, and he had understood all the Vedas, all the Shastras, and he had done Kotyanukoti japa of various sacred mantras. He had done the mantra japa of Om Namah Shivaya, Panchakshari mantra, the Gayatri mantra, Sri Vidya mantra, and he had done this crores and crores of times. And yet he thought that there was something lacuna in his practice. There was something that was going wrong, and he needs a guru who will guide him. And he had remembered this Brahmana Swami, who was Bhagwan Ramana at that point of time, who was staying at Virupaksha cave that he had seen. And he saw that he is my guru. And on this auspicious day of Kartikeya Deepam, when the whole Tiruvannamalai was filled with people and devotees, and he ran up to the hill to Virupaksha cave where there was nobody there, and he fell at the feet of that young Brahmana Swami and said, I've done everything that needs to be done. I have done Kotyanukoti japa, but still I don't experience that silence which the Shastras with the Vedas have expounded. So please show me, where am I going wrong? Please tell me what is tapas. And Ramana gave the Upadesha, find out from where the I thought arises. You say, I want to know. Find out from where the I thought arises and merge at its source. That is true tapas. And out of compassion, he continued, because he was a great japi and he had done Kotyanukoti japa. He told, find out from where the mantra nada arises from within and merge at the source of that mantra nada. That is true tapas. So Ramana gives us the path that when we are doing a japa, it should not be mechanical, not only with the mouth. He says, make your mind the mouth. And just like the Sudarshana Chakra, the Nama should be going, make the mind the mouth and keep repeating it and pay attention to that source of the mantra, the source of everything, our breath, our thought is the self, says Bhagavan Ramana. And he says that is the source of the mantra too. So pay attention to that source of the mantra and continue your japa like Ajya Dharaya Srotasasam, just like the flow of the ghee or the flow of the water in the river. Continue your japa. Offer all your spare time to japa or the sadhana that you are doing. Was the Upadesha given by Vishwanatha Swami to Dr. Sharda. So we need to hold on to that japa whenever we remember it. Ramana says, if you have forgotten the japa and you have done it mechanically, when you remember that, quickly get back to the self, quickly get back to the source of the mantra and continue the japa. And that is the path. And once the japa becomes ajapa, then we know the story of Tukaram, where every pore of his body was singing the nama of the divine, singing the nama of Rama. This is what Ramana says. And that is the path that we need to follow.
Thank you, Ujwal.